I always thought betrayal was something that happened to other people. Something you read about in books, hear about in movies, a tragic tale that makes you shake your head and say, "Damn, that's rough." But life has a funny way of proving you wrong. The night Sarah sat me down, tears streaking her face, I knew something was wrong. My heart pounded as she struggled to speak, her hands trembling in her lap. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. For a moment, just one fleeting second, I felt a surge of joy. We hadn't been trying, but we had talked about kids. I pictured tiny hands, sleepy giggles, a future where I was a father, where we were a family. But then she spoke again. "It's not yours." The room tilted. My breath caught in my throat. I must have misheard. Not mine. And then, the final dagger. The name that would rip my world apart. It's Mike's. Everything inside me shattered. My brother. My own flesh and blood. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. The air turned thick, suffocating. Betrayal curled around me like smoke from a fire that had been burning my whole life, and I had just been too blind to see it. That was the moment everything changed. That was the moment I realized. My family had never truly been my family. To understand why this betrayal cut so deep, you have to understand how my family worked. Mike, my younger brother, was the golden child. The sun revolved around him. If he made a mistake, it wasn't really his fault. If I so much as breathed wrong, I was punished. If he broke something, I got blamed. If he failed, it was okay, he just needed another chance. If I succeeded, it was expected. No praise, no recognition. When I got into a top college with a scholarship, they barely acknowledged it. When Mike flunked out of community college, they threw him a "you tried your best" party and bought him a car. Still, I held on to the belief that one day they'd see me, really see me. So I kept trying. I worked my ass off, climbed the corporate ladder, and built a life for myself, all without their help. And just when I thought I had finally won, when I met Sarah and felt like the universe had finally handed me something good, Mike took that too. I don't know how long it had been going on, maybe since our engagement party, maybe longer. All I knew was that while I was working late, pushing through sleepless nights to build a future for Sarah and me, she was sneaking off to be with him. The signs had been there. The sudden distance, the way she was always on her phone, smiling at messages she brushed off as work friends. The nights she came home late, smelling like booze and cologne. I had been a fool. When I confronted Mike, I didn't know what I was expecting. Remorse? Guilt? I got laughter. Well, maybe if you were a better fiancé, she wouldn't have come to me. Something inside me snapped. I don't remember much of what happened next. Just flashes, shouting, a fist clenched at my side, my father stepping between us with that same disappointed look he always reserved for me. And then the final blow. "You need to forgive your brother, son. Family comes first. Forgive him for what? Stealing my future? Sleeping with the woman I was going to marry?" I looked at them, my father standing there with his arms crossed, my mother wringing her hands, Mike smirking like he had won, and in that moment I saw the truth. I was never really a part of this family, not in the way Mike was. So I made a decision. "You wait. No, what? You can have him. You can have all of this. Because I'm done." And I walked away. I thought cutting ties would be the end of it. I was wrong. They called. They texted. My mother showed up at my work sobbing, begging me to come to the baby shower. "You're going to be an uncle, isn't that wonderful?" Mike started showing up, at my gym, near my apartment, smirking, waiting. The final straw? The restraining order. I thought that would stop them. But when we got to court, my parents brought a high-powered lawyer to argue that I was the problem, that I was overreacting, that I was tearing the family apart over a little mistake. The judge didn't buy it. Restraining order. Granted, Mike's face twisted into something ugly as I walked out of that courtroom. "This isn't over," he hissed, and for once, he was right. The gym was supposed to be my escape, my one place to breathe. But one night, as I was hitting the punching bag, I heard that voice again. "Miss me?" Mike. I turned. He was grinning, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You know, Sarah's been real upset. Since you broke my nose, you should apologize." Something inside me boiled over. The rage, the years of being second place, the betrayal. It all came out in one clean punch. His smirk vanished as my fist connected with his jaw, and just like that, we were on the ground, fists flying. No parents to break it up. No one telling. Me to be the bigger person. When it was over, I was panting, my knuckles bruised, and Mike was on the floor, blood dripping from his nose, and I felt nothing. Because I finally realized there was no winning with them. I had to leave. Packing up my life felt surreal. Every box sealed, every item put away. It was like erasing a version of myself that had spent years fighting for a place that never truly existed. Seattle wasn't just a move, it was an escape, a chance to start, over without ghosts from my past lurking around every corner. But the road to freedom wasn't as easy as I thought. The night before I left, I got one final message. Not from my parents, not from Mike, from Sarah. "I just want you to know, I never meant to hurt you. I hope one day you'll understand. Mike and I, this wasn't supposed to happen, but we found something real. I hope you can be happy for us. I hope one day we can be friends again. For the baby's sake." Friends? After everything? I stared at the message, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. There were a million things I wanted to say. A million ways I wanted to tell her just how much she and Mike had destroyed. Instead, I just blocked her number. Because the truth was, I didn't need closure from her. I didn't need an apology that would never be genuine. I just needed to go. The day I left, my mother tried one last time. She showed up outside my apartment sobbing, clutching an old photo album. "Baby pictures of me and Mike. Christmas mornings, summers at the lake." "You're making a mistake," she pleaded. "We're still your family." I looked at her, at the woman who had spent my entire life making excuses for my brother, never once, standing up for me. "No," I said, voice steady. "You were never my family." And for the first time, I walked away without looking back. Seattle was cold when I arrived. The rain drizzled against my windshield as I pulled up to my new apartment. No familiar faces. No painful memories. Just silence. It should have felt lonely. But for the first time in my life, it felt like peace. There was no Mike, no Sarah, no parents whispering in my ear that I needed to be the bigger person. Just me. I set my suitcases down in my empty apartment, took a deep breath, and smiled. I didn't know what the future held. But for the first time, it was mine to decide. No ghosts, no chains, just a fresh start. Seattle is different. Quiet, rainy, but it's mine. I've started therapy, started rebuilding, and for the first time in my life, I don't feel like I'm running after something I'll never catch. Sarah and Mike? They're still playing house, posting pictures of their perfect family. But I don't care. Because I am free. And if there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's this. Family isn't blood. Family is who stands by you, who lifts you up, who doesn't betray you the moment it's convenient. I may have lost my family, but I found myself. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.